What happens when disabled children become disabled adults? Who loves them, who cares for them, and who pays for them? Cliff Robinson is a father of not one, but two disabled grown-ups, and he, like thousands of others, is basically left on his own 24/7 with a lifelong commitment. He could have put them in an institution, or a professional carer could do the job and be paid for it, but being their dad, Cliff doesn't qualify. Is it fair? Is it right? Ian Sinclair with the story.
I love them, they love me. There was a job to be done, and the job should be done.
Cliff Robinson's in a job he can never step down from.
There's a bit too much wind today.
Yeah, I think so, Dad.
At 73, Cliff's been minding his kids for 4 decades. Daughter Marita is 43.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, Marita was born with microcephaly. Micro means small, cephaly means brain. Limitations, intellectually quite severe. She can print her own name. She can't read or write. She knows the sign to go in and out of the toilet. And very, very outgoing and very warm and very lovely. She's the apple of my eye.
His son, 40-year-old Johnny, also has microcephaly.
Since the advent of schizophrenia, of course, he's gone downhill, and it's just continued downhill. And in the last few years at a very rapid rate.
Today, they're the face of a campaign for parents demanding recognition for the support they give their disabled kids.
Because if you get another person to come into your house to help, they will get paid for the same work that I do, and I get nothing.
Yep, got mussels, got to cook some.
It's believed thousands of families could be affected. We'll get to that soon. Cliff still remembers when it first hit home for him.
15th of June 1970. I remember the date because it was Mary's birthday.
Mary, Cliff's ex-wife, was coping with the birth of her second severely disabled child.
I wasn't all that wonderful as a husband. I was the Kiwi joker. I had a liking for the drink. In the morning I woke up and she said, "I'm going," and I thought she was going to the shop. And she was going, she went. And here I was at home in Nappy Valley in Green Bay with a 3.5-year-old daughter with microcephaly, a son who was 8 months old with microcephaly. There's no DPB in 1970, there's nothing. I had to ring up the boss at Pacific Steel and told them I wouldn't be in. And I had to look after Marita and give Johnny his bottle and try and exist for a few days.
How did you cope?
Very badly, very badly. There was no feminine side to me. It was not easy at all. And both of them were wetting pants and pooing pants and trying to cope with feeding them and so on.
It was all too much for the hard-living ex-seaman. He put his children in a home.
And then I hit bottles of DB very severely. And I decided that in my depression that I'd go back to sea and I'd go to South America, and that would be the finish of things.
But as Cliff recalls it, love won the day.
After 2 months I went to see Marita. She seen me from a distance and she run towards me and, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, I love you, my daddy," and threw herself at me and jumped up on me. That was the end of jumping ship in South America. That was the day that changed my life, and I decided that somehow, somewhere, I would try and bring them home.
First, though, Cliff had to conquer the booze.
For the first 18 months that Mary had left, I was drunk every day.
One day, he picked Marita up from the home. He was blind drunk.
I knew that I was losing it. You know, I could have killed myself. I could have killed my daughter.
What was your turning point?
I got home and I had a look in the fridge, and these bottles of DB looked beautiful. They were cold, and I had the dry horrors, and I had a little bit of the Joe Blakes. And I thought, one of them's going to cure me. And so I got it out, and I took the top off it, and I was just about to, and I thought, no, and I got the other two, and I poured them down the toilet. And that was the last time in my life I ever had a drink, and that was the turning point in my life. It's all been it's all been uphill since. Nothing else matters. Once you've beaten alcohol, you can beat anything.
So your kids gave you something.
An enormous amount. Without them, I would never have done it.
Dawn on the Coromandel, and Cliff's daily routine has already begun.
Come around here, sweetie.
Oh, Dad.
Here you are. Hey, darling. Love you. Look this
With
way.
patience, Cliff has taught Marita to help where she can.
I set the table, knives and forks on the table, and the kitchen, all the plates out, and to clean the a fridge. Yeah, I'm busy at home.
And you work as a real team together, don't you?
Yeah, help Dad.
And then she'll toodle into her room and she'll spend a fair bit of time getting dressed, and she goes through a routine of making her bed.
Gotta be straight. It's not straight.
And Johnny will wake up a little after this. Morning, Johnny. And he comes out in the morning and he's developed diabetes in the last year.
Look at him.
So firstly we have to take the blood test
There's plenty of blood there, Johnny.
to see how the sugar levels are.
14.7, a bit high. Probably the curry and the beer last night.
Curry, beer.
And then we have to give him his medication, which is very important, not only for diabetes but for his schizophrenia.
You know what the pills are for? What are they for? Your sugar?
Sugar beer.
Sugar beating, yeah. You right?
And then I'll have to take him up and shower him. He needs help to get dressed.
You think I should grow a big moustache?
No.
No.
And then I'll have to get their lunches packed for the day.
What's that apple for
I'm
John?
going to put that over there for Johnny.
Yeah.
They don't like sandwiches, so we get little snacks.
Okay.
And we usually leave here about 8 o'clock to drive from Ruamahanga Bay to the Thames Day service.
And Cliff gets a few hours respite. It's a job he can never retire from, not even at 73.
43 years. So you never thought as years went by, well, maybe I could just slip them into an institution.
Never,
No?
never.
Why not?
It was just they were here, I loved them, they loved me. There was a job to be done and the job should be done.
You could have got married.
Could have got married again. It's something that I have thought of as I get older. I do have a little envy for people that have children and grandchildren and son-in-laws and, you know, the extended family, which I'll never have. But then in a way, you know, I've got a child, I've got an adolescent, and I've got an adult all in one, all wrapped up in one. So in some ways I'm very fortunate.
Next up, a blessing from the Pope.
We met the Pope in Rome. I sat in the front.
And Cliff demands a fair deal from the government.
It's not natural care to look after your kids once they're over 18.
Thames Township, and on her paper round, Marita Robinson shows the stuff her family's made of.
Yep, hard work.
As battlers for the rights of the disabled
Yeah, it's hot.
and the families that care for them.
And it's puff.
It's all about battling on.
I just was brought up in a working class home in Onehunga. My parents weren't philosophers, they weren't great thinkers, but they taught me that you just done things. What had to be done, had to be done.
Wow, very nice. Isn't that beautiful?
Do you like it?
And they can still dream. This wedding dress, a gift from a friend.
7 bridesmaids. 7. It's only me, yeah.
Would you like to be a bridesmaid one
Yeah,
day?
yeah, one day. Yep, one day.
They've already done more.